I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music. Today, I don't know what episode number this is. I've lost track at this point. Guster's brand new album, Easy Wonderful. If you ever listen to Guster, they're kind of, indie pop rock. They're good stuff. It's more like indie folk pop. That's a good way to describe them. We reviewed Guster's release, Keep It Together. It's right down there. That's a good album. We liked it. It's one of our, it's always made our top 200 lists, I think.
I don't think it's made mine, actually. It'd be right underneath there, though. Like, I really like it.
Pretty good album. This little bit of a different edge from the band Guster. A little bit more positive. Fits with the name Easy Wonderful, but, I had some problems with it, but before I delve into that, Tom, what do you think?
Sounds like we had kind of the same problems with it. I liked it overall, don't get me wrong. And this is a very good band, definitely worth checking out. I like especially one of the things that's always been a staple of theirs is that they have a conga player as kind of one of their main percussionists. And you still hear him on here. Not quite as much, even as I might have hoped. It gets kind of drowned in the mix. If you listen for it, it's there. But at least they didn't just, give him the boot or something. Of course, now I'll probably go do some research and find out that they did give him the boot. I don't know. But I mean, the sound is there, is my point. But yeah, I'm kind of torn about this album because I really like their albums Keep It Together and Ganging Up on the Sun. Really good, and there was a lot more, I feel like, adventurous qualities to those albums, whereas here, instead of pushing their sound forward and trying to do something really new, they actually settle for a middle ground that's a lot safer and a lot more, I don't know, I feel like they're settling somewhere that's not even quite where some of their previous albums were willing to go.
Yeah, this feels like kind of just a push out, we had to record something sort of deal.
Yeah.
The closing track, Do You Do What You Want, uses this drum machine. There's more electronic elements on here. I felt like the closer really was quite awful. But some good songwriting. In fact, that's one thing that I noted, is that a lot of the songwriting I felt was the strongest we've ever seen, but it was only on select tracks. And on other tracks it was, kind of lackluster. So I feel like, Tom, there was a lot of displacement. There's some clear A-sides to me and some clear B-sides. And I hate it. I hate it when I have to listen to an album with clear A-sides and clear B-sides. It literally just ruins it for me. So, and I mean, other than the songwriting, I would comment that this overall is optimistic. It kind of reminds me of, when another band or artist with an extensive discography, M. Ward, who's traditionally done more moody albums, then came out with Hold Time, which also had a bit of a Christian theme to it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just that this also does the same thing. It's a little bit more positive than their previous work, still high quality, but more optimistic, less moody, and has a Christian theme to it. There's several songs on here that I think you could honestly categorize them as Christian rock or Christian folk. And I feel like any time that you do that, when it's that blatant, it's gonna be polarizing. It's gonna people are either gonna love it or they're gonna be like, eh.
And the point is, it's not just polarizing, it's polarizing in a way that takes away from the music.
That's right.
Because you're going to have people that inherently, whether they like the music or not, will like it more for that reason, and people that, regardless of the music, will like it less for that reason. So just, to me, anything that brings the focus off of the music itself is kind of a negative feature. And at that point, it's like, well, you might as well just save those tracks, set them aside, and come out with an album that is overtly advertised as a Christian rock album. But to mix it in here, it gives some mixed messages. You don't really understand, well, are they a Christian band? And the thing is, there's lots of bands that have kind of mentioned that in the past. Brand New and Modest Mouse are very religiously driven bands.
But it's more subtle.
But it's more subtle. They'll just kind of hint at it, and there's more depth there. It's not just kind of blatant praise Jesus, obviously. It's a lot more questioning things, and so there's something a little more to take out of it, because it's not directly positive or negative. It's just kind of raising questions.
And one other thing that bothered me about Easy Easy Wonderful was the vocal parts just didn't seem to be up to par. It seemed like they kind of got redundant after a while. They were very similar. There wasn't a lot of real push in the vocal department, and maybe that's just a personal opinion, but to me, I just felt like we were kind of hoodwinked a little bit from what you would typically expect from a Guster release. My favorite track's Tito. Track 4, This Could All Be Yours Someday. I think that is just an awesome folk fanfare. I thought it was just one of those clear A-sides to me. Track 8, What You Call Love, and then track 11, probably my track pick on the album, Hercules, which I thought was old school, moody Guster.
I'm honestly just going to go with the first 3 tracks. Architects and Engineers, Do You Love Me, and On the Ocean. I thought just bam, bam, bam. Great way to start the album. And then I think it overall just kind of, I mean, I like your track picks as well.
But everything else in between.
But there is some filler. There's some filler tracks that.
And to tell you the truth, that's one thing we talked about previously is that the beginning of the album is much stronger than the end, and that's one thing that and the fact that it doesn't close well, I think it really works against it. Anytime you have an album that's front heavy, I mean, there's no incentive to keep listening. Now, thankfully for me, one of my favorite tracks is the second to last track.
Yeah.
Overall, I feel like it's still good, but it needs a little work. 68.
I'm going to go 70.
70?
I like it, and I feel like I said a lot of bad things, but at the same time, I mean, I enjoy the songwriting. It's fun to listen to.
It's good songwriting. The Guster uses a variety of instrumentals. These are just staple Guster qualities. It's just, in the indie folk pop genre, this is some of the best music you're going to find. Still, even with a little bit of air there. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like Guster's Easy Wonderful? Does the Christian rock aspect of their music, does that bother you? Because that wasn't, at least I never noticed that as prevalent in their music previously than it is on Easy Wonderful. So why don't you guys let us know what you think at www.velocitiesmusic.com or leave us a comment on our YouTube channel. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.